Hello Riverdale, class of 2017. It's Richard from Zeus Comics. Rather than focus on the season-long mystery surrounding Jason Blossom's murder, this episode of Riverdale expanded the plots and dramas of the Coopers, the Lodges, the Joneses, plus the conclusion for the Archie Geraldine Grundy student-teacher affair. The primary plot centers around the Twilight Drive In and its closure due to a mysterious business developer. Our social advocate and outcast, Jughead Jones, sets about trying to save the drive-in in a desperate plea with Mayor McCoy and the construction demolition company owned by Archie's dad, Fred Andrews. With no way to save the drive-in, Jughead holds one final showing/fundraiser, the appropriately chosen Rebel Without a Cause, about socially conflicted middle-class teens. Leading up to the drive-in moments, however, is the Geraldine Grundy reveal, with Betty first interrupting a dinner between Archie, Grundy, and Archie's dad at the chocolate shop. Armed with the secret knowledge from Dilton Doily that Mrs. Grundy's car was also down at the river the day Jason died, Betty confronts Archie about the affair in full view of Veronica. But Archie isn't having it, leaving our sleuth Betty literally sleuthstering into discovering the real Geraldine Grundy died years earlier. Along with Veronica, Betty breaks into Grundy's VW Bug to discover a gun, the possible murder weapon, and an ID for Jennifer Gibson. With the girl's warning, Archie is forced to address the Grundy doppelganger, and Ms. Grundy, or Ms. Gibson, spins a tale about escaping domestic abuse. It still leaves open the question as to why she assumed Grundy's ID to begin with. Was she just a pervy teacher, or was it something more? Somewhat satisfied with her excuse, Archie gets his Grundy on, while the rest of the Riverdale teens and their parents are at the attendance at the Twilight Drive In for the final show. Hermione cozies up to Fred, Cheryl cozies up to Kevin and Veronica, and Kevin cozies up to Joaquin. Riverdale didn't hold back on this one, y'all. Congrats to Kevin for getting steamy with Southside Serpent's boy from the wrong side of tracks, Joaquin. Oh, and speaking of Southside Serpents, this episode establishes the first gang of hooligans and criminal element in Riverdale with the Southside Serpents. They've been causing problems at the Twilight Drive In, scaring away patrons, making it ripe for development. But what's this? Hermione Lodge on the creep? Seriously guys, this went Scooby-Doo villain as Hermione meets up with the leader of the Southside Serpents. Remember that big fat bag of cash from the very first episode? Turns out Mr. Lodge is our mysterious developer, as we later see Hermione bribe not only Mayor McCoy, but the Southside Serpents. And in a confrontation with her mom, Veronica gets all the tea as Hermione reveals the details of the bribes, also asking Veronica how much she loved her lavish New York lifestyle, now making Veronica complicit in the deal. Random. But did y'all catch that CoverGirl commercial, Becoming Betty, between the breaks? Sweet, simple, kind, girl next door, stone cold killer. Seriously, Betty actor Lily Reinhart didn't make a single expression that entire commercial. It was unsettling. Murder much? Plus our girl next door Betty also knows how to break into cars. So maybe she's not so innocent. But she sure doesn't know how to hide a gun though. Mom is bound to find it in your sock drawer, Betty. Pro tip. Next time you want to hide your gun, hide it in the back of your VW Bug, you know, so the neighbor kids can break in and find it. The Alice-Betty Cooper drama gets pulled to the front this episode as Alice is intent on keeping Betty and Archie from being friends, with Alice going after Archie at every turn. After discovering the gun in Betty's drawer, it's Alice that drags Archie's dad Fred from the drive-in to Grundy's house, where Grundy is exposed and she agrees to leave town. Later, Betty and Alice hash it out, with Betty directly addressing her that Archie and her aren't the same as Polly and Jason Blossom. It's the first time we see Alice as a sympathetic character. One note, Grundy is a constant in the comics. I'll be surprised if she was already written off the show. But in a quick scene, full of her clown car with her belongings, Ms. Gibson flirts with what we assume are teenagers. Riverdale is suggesting that Gibson is a serial child molester. This probably means her relationship with Jason was much more than platonic. Will this come back? Those clown glasses though, they gotta go. And finally, keeping up with the Joneses. With the drive-in closed, we learn part of Jughead's passion for the Twilight is that Jughead is homeless and has been living in the office of the drive-in. It's also revealed that the leader of the Southside Serpents, who is working the deal with Hermione Lodge, is in fact Jughead's dad. All of this adding more dimension to the outcast character Jughead. I'm rooting for you, kid. Our next episode sneaks gets us back to Blossoms with Jason's memorial, a secret agenda, and Betty on the case. Plus more of that small town America weirdness that we oh so love in Riverdale. Get ready for the newest episode, Heart of Darkness.